Today, you guys are here for Andy Crestodina. Andy is a co-founder and chief marketing officer of Orbit Media, an award-winning 38-person digital agency in Chicago. Over the past 19 years, Andy has provided digital marketing advice to thousands of businesses. He speaks at national marketing conferences, writes for big marketing blogs, and hosts a little marketing podcast. Andy has written hundreds of articles on content strategy, search engine optimization, influencer marketing, conversion, and analytics. He's a top 10 online marketing expert to watch from Forbes, top 10 social media influencer to watch on Social Media Explorer, and is also the author of Content Chemistry, the illustrated handbook for content marketing. Please give a warm DreamBank welcome to Andy.
Thank you. Glad to be back. Thank you all for coming. I'm really excited to be here. I'm a Chicagoan, and like all Chicagoans, we just love Madison. We have a huge crush and a place in our hearts for Madison. I don't know anyone who doesn't love this city that you guys live in, so it's always a pleasure to come up. And to teach this topic, I love this. I'm going to use every minute of the hour that we have together. It's not enough time. I'm expecting to maybe give you a little more than you can consume all at once. If this is a bit overwhelming, please don't worry. We are recording this. Worry about taking notes, don't worry. These are your slides. We're going to give you the slides. I'll give them to you today if you have a thumb drive today. If something is a bit over your head, just sit back and know that this is an introduction to concepts and that you can go back and watch it again and learn it and share it with your team and just get as much value from this as possible. I want it to be really practical. So the theme here is that this is a 1% content strategy, as in how to be in the top 1% of content strategists, content programs, and literally how to beat 99%, statistically beat 99% of the other content programs out there. Okay? That's my hope and my promise for you. You'll see at the end how I'm going to try to connect all these dots. So content marketing sounds something like this. Write some helpful, useful articles, promote them in search and social and email, right? This isn't advertising, it's content marketing. And some percentage of people who read these will actually need what you do and go to a service page. And then they want to find out who you are, get some trust, go to the About page, fill out your contact form, and become a lead. As if the visitors who read these blog posts are going to make their way over to the thank you page and become a lead. Now, I don't disagree that content marketing is, in fact, about building a bridge from google.com to your thank you page. Think about it, that's really what we're trying to do. Build a bridge to bring people from whatever digital monopoly, traffic source, over to your thank you page. That's definitely true. But it's not common at all for a visitor to start their visit at a blog post and then suddenly become a lead. Using Google Analytics and making a segment for people who start their visit on a blog post, I'm looking at the total number of visitors who start visits on blog posts, and it's a lot. For this account, it's more than 1 million visitors a year. A lot of people like to read helpful articles. But the percentage of those people who then become a lead, I call them bloglanders, is abysmally low. It's a tiny fraction of a percent of people who actually go to a website, or any of us at any given day, look at your browsing history, you go to a website to get some information, and then just suddenly decide you need that company's services. It doesn't happen every day. What does happen every day is people who start their visit on an article, service page landers, far more likely to become a lead, like 50 times as likely to become a lead. Someone who starts their visit by searching for a commercial intent key phrase, someone who needs a service that day, everything that you search for in Google is either an information intent key phrase or a commercial intent key phrase. It's either a question mark or a $sign. And if you start your visit on a website with a question mark key phrase by landing on a blog post, you're just not that likely to need their services. This, in fact, is so rare that when it happens for me, I actually take a screenshot of the lead. Like, wow! It's like I'm like a nature photographer with like a rare bird. It actually happened! Look at that! I love reading your blog articles. I've learned a lot from you, and now I need your services. That's so uncommon, I actually take pictures of it when it happens. What does happen every day, though, is that people link to helpful, useful articles. And it's those links that make the entire website, every page on that website, more likely to rank. So maybe this is the real mechanism for content strategy. Maybe this is the real mechanism for generating demand, is that without the blog posts, you would never get a link from another website. Without those links, there would never be enough authority and ranking potential for your other pages. And if this page doesn't rank, you're never going to attract a qualified visitor who needs your services. Maybe the real benefit of content marketing is that you give the universe something to link to. Those links make every page on your domain more likely to rank. And it's when these service pages rank for the money phrase that you're going to create demand. It's awfully nice of you to help out people who need your advice. But what we're really trying to do is to attract people qualified visitor to our sales pages, our products, our services, the stuff that we do for a living. And then those people, 50 times more likely, literally, 50 times more likely to go to the About page, the Contact page, and convert into a lead. That's going to be the basis for the content strategy I'm going to introduce to you. I'm going to show you how to make all this happen and to drive traffic, qualified visitors to these pages. It's a strategy. Strategy to me is a buzzword. When I hear it, I just replace in my mind the word strategy with a plan to reach a goal. It works better for me. I like simple words. I think it's a fancy word. It used to be my title. A strategy is a plan to reach a goal. We'll just call it that. A content strategy, I'm going to say, is a plan to use content to reach a business goal, okay? Here's my content strategy of the top 1% of companies. And because it's a presentation, I have to use somebody. I have to prepare slides and get ready to talk to you guys. So I picked a real company. This is a true story. It's a hip co-working space, not unlike this one. It's in the West Loop of Chicago. They deliver coffee to offices. My friend says, come in, talk to them. They want some advice. No problem, I go in. I'm literally in the basement of this cool co-work. It's a WeWork space. Green shag carpeting on the walls. The actual, you can imagine it, right? It's not that strange these days. And I'm sitting in the meeting and I'm talking to them and explaining how content works and search rankings and Keyphrase intent. And the CEO comes in like 10 minutes late. Nice guy, I'm sure. But he sits directly across from me, like right in that chair. Crosses his arms, crosses his legs. This is like defensive body language. And he's staring me down. I'm like, I don't even offer this as a service. I'm not selling him anything, right? We're just a web design company. But he looks at me and he says, this isn't going to work for us. We get our leads from calling people. Great. Don't stop calling people. Continue to generate demand however you do. I'm just showing you another way to increase that, right? This would be incremental. So anyway, I'm calling them out. We don't have to talk about this, right? I guess we're recording this, but they're not likely to see this. Crafty is a real-life office coffee delivery service in Chicago, and I'm going to make a content strategy for them. Just for fun, right? Got to choose somebody. So step one in every content strategy is the same. Publish your mission. Publish your mission. What is your mission statement? It's who you talk to and what you talk about. Here's mine. We are where? Digital marketers. Find what? Practical advice on content analytics and web design. Why do you care? Because you want to get better results from your website. This is my template for writing your content mission statement, which if you haven't done yet, you should do it soon. I like to do it with friends. I do it at bars. I pair it with wine. If you like content strategy, this is a fun exercise. You can do it in a half an hour. But documenting it is the difference. You are where audience X gets information Y for benefit Z, the what's in it for them, the why they should care, the reason they visited. Statistically, companies that do this are more likely to report strong results from their marketing. Companies that don't do this report that they are the least effective at marketing. This, according to year after year, the Content Marketing Institute and Marketing Prof's B2B content marketing survey, showing that people that don't do this don't get as good of results. Literally, you are 3 times more likely to report strong results in your marketing if you document that mission. So everyone does it, right? Nope. Only 28% of companies have documented their content mission statement. Why does it work? It's quite simple in my mind. It makes a great call to action. This is not an accident. I can draw a causal relationship between your mission statement and your results because you can repurpose it as a call to action. Why are you on this website? To get practical tips for content marketing, analytics, and web design. I am simply repurposing my content mission statement as the call to action to grow my list. If your email sign-up form doesn't tell people what they would get, why would they subscribe? Why am I here? There's a true story in the life of every visitor to every web page. Think of it that way. Every visitor on your site, today, tomorrow, there's a true story. Something's happening in their life that brought them there. And their first question they ask, we all ask when we land on a web page, is why am I here? The answer is to get practical tips for content marketing, analytics, and web design. I've answered that question for the visitor on the page. Unbounce, great blog. Why are you here? You're here to crush your next online marketing campaign. It's explicit. I've told you what's in it for you. I've given you a reason to subscribe. Yet website, and no matter where the CTA appears, you can include that. This is in the footer. Yet site after site that I look at, we build sites. I planned like 1,000 websites in my career. It's a ridiculous number. But we see this all the time. Does your email sign-up form look like that? Why would anyone fill out that? Why would they put their email address in there? In fact, it would be super weird if someone subscribed to your newsletter because you didn't even tell them what they're going to get or how often. Just document your mission statement and publish that. So you solve this simple problem and grow your list. List growth is critical because it's a disintermediation. You are now no longer relying on Google and Facebook to drive traffic. It's That's why every content strategist is obsessed with email list growth, because there's no giant company in between you and your audience, right? That's why pop-ups are so popular. This also, by the way, is very helpful in your social media profiles. I took a random screenshot of some recent followers on a social network. Let's take a look. If I'm into exotic dancing today, this might be a good person to follow. Doesn't happen to be what I'm thinking about at this moment. You got to respect this guy. He just sort of says, please. Something sincere about that. I don't know. So which of these people have repurposed their content mission statement as their social bio, right? They're not saying what we do X, Y, and Z. No. They're telling you what they care about. We improve content quality and reach, right? If you want faster list follower growth, take that mission statement you wrote and repurpose it as your social bio. So let's do it for Crafty. This took me 5 minutes. It was fun to do. We're Audience X, office managers. Those are the people that decide who to hire for office coffee delivery. They find what? Fun tips for the workplace. I'm going to put some tone in there. I'm going to enjoy this more myself. My readers might enjoy it too. Why? Because they want to build happier, more productive teams. That's my content mission statement for Crafty. So when we ask that question, the visitor asks the question, they land on the site, why am I here? It's obvious. You're here for fun, practical tips for the workplace, right? Now I can go ahead and begin laying the groundwork. What am I going to talk about? What topics does my audience want? There's a million hacks for this. Here's the fastest and easiest. Office managers. What do they care about? They've got office kitchens. What does the internet want to know about office kitchens? If I type in the words office kitchen and then put a space into Google, there's a list of topics I could write about tomorrow and maybe rank for next week. The internet is filled with ideas. It's an endless source. Office kitchen ideas, organization, signs, supplies list. Okay, now if I type the next letter of the alphabet, it suggests more. And the next letter, it suggests more. But it's quite boring to type the letter of the alphabet, the 26 letters, right? So let's go to a tool that will scrape them all out of Google in 2 seconds, keywordtool.io. Type in office kitchen, and it gives you 202 key phrases that people search for related to office kitchens. Every one of those is a possible topic. Every one of those is something my audience might want me to publish. Another fun tool that I think of in the same category is called Answer the Public. Anyone tried this yet? Yes, not many. AnswerThePublic.com scrapes the internet for questions. I put in office coffee. What does the internet want to know about office coffee? Here they are. Here are the top 15 office coffee questions. But which, by the way, is cool at first because it's on this weird circular diagram. And then it's annoying 2 seconds later because your head starts turning like this to read it. So click on the data view and it puts them in lists for you. Voila. This is my audience is definitely going to want these topics. Is office coffee tax deductible? That's probably going to work in search. How to make office coffee taste better? That might work in social. What's the best office coffee machine? Quora is another source like this. Anyone using Quora yet? Yeah. I went to Quora and put in office party. What are all the questions and answers people are asking related to office parties? What are some funny office party awards? Great. Minutes after minutes, my publishing calendar is filling up. This is not a long exercise. Weirdly, you don't need to know that much about a target audience to do content strategy for them because the internet is just such an amazing source of topics. And then in my mind, they all organize under this giant fractal. Every topic in the universe fits on a huge fractal where you can zoom in or zoom out and find great stuff at any depth. Like top 10 office perks. Okay, that's kind of a list post. That's going to work. Let's go deeper onto one of those. Awesome office kitchens. That's going to work great. We're going to go deeper onto one of the office kitchen related topics. Is beer at work a dumb idea? I decided recently this is a bad example because that would be a very short article. That doesn't need a lot of words, right? We could do that in one word. But the ultimate format for content, the all-powerful format for content is this thing called original research. Remember, I'm trying to rank for the money phrase. So I need to have domain authority. So I need to attract links to my website. And one format of content gets linked to more than all others, which is original research. It's just not true that good content's good and bad content is not as good. What's true is good content is amazing and bad content is kind of useless. Most content doesn't get any results at all. BuzzSumo did research on this. Steve Rayson from BuzzSumo analyzed 1 million articles to find out what correlates with links and shares. The results were shocking. This is the scariest hockey stick curve I've ever seen. Everything in digital marketing is a curve, right? There's no straight lines. But that's the crazy exponential curve. Basically what he found is that most content gets no results. 75% of content never gets linked to at all, and 50% of content gets 2 or fewer Facebook interactions, which I'm going to go ahead and round that down to 0, because if you've got 2 Facebook interactions, that's like the blogger and the editor. It's like me and my mom. Mom liked it. That doesn't count. That's basically no performance. So Steve concludes that there's really 2 things that outperform the rest. What are they? If you want to produce content that creates a high level of both shares and links, social and search, then you need to concentrate on 2 things: opinion-forming authoritative content or well-researched and evidence content. I'll paraphrase: strong opinion or original research. Strong opinion is very difficult for content strategists to consistently produce, right? Not an easy thing, not a very scalable thing. But original research, I want to show you, it is totally scalable, and here's how. First, to prove the point, I went into Google Search Console to look at my own backlink profile, who's linked to what. And you can see that the articles that have been linked to the most, right, there's a vast, high percentage, a disproportionate percentage of these that are actually original research. So here's 3 ways to produce original research for your brands. Again, if we were in a bar, we would just brainstorm this right now. I've done workshops where we just come up with ideas on the spot. We can do it through observation, through aggregation, or through a survey. Here we go. Observation. We build a website for a client. The site goes live. Hey, where's my search tool? You didn't put a search tool on my website. Well, your sitemap is like this narrow and this shallow. You don't really need a search tool. Your navigation's quite descriptive. It's not necessarily an important feature. But his question stuck with me. Is that a standard feature on websites? What's standard on websites? What features are standard? I don't know. Anyone know? Basically, no one knows. No one had answered that question yet. So to produce that content, I reached out. I went to Alexa.com and downloaded a list of the top 50 marketing websites. I made a list of 10 elements that go on websites. I gave it to a virtual assistant who sent me back a spreadsheet that showed which websites had which features and published this little diagram that shows if 80% of it, 80% or 75% or more had it, I called it standard. 50% or more, I called it a web convention. This chart basically was the first appearance on the internet of what is standard on websites. It attracted lots of links. 126 websites have linked to that piece of research over time. And it doesn't perform too bad in search. It ranks today number 2 for the phrase web design standards, right above the standard setting body for the internet. See how that works? The W3C is actually very bad at SEO. They don't have to work very hard at search. They set standards for the internet, so they're in charge of like that stuff. But I can outrank them pretty easily, not that hard. I just put the web design standards key phrase at the front of my title tag. It generates lots of visibility, 100,000+ visitors over time. This is what SEO looks like. You know, it doesn't rank at all, then it begins to rank higher for more phrases, ranks higher, ranks for more phrases. In the end, you know, people spending an average of 6 minutes on an article that with 120,000 visitors since its launch. That's not the goal, right? What really helps me about that is the fact that it's attracted to links. When links give me the ranking potential. Here's another good one. Who uses Google Tag Manager? Anyone heard of this tool? Yeah, it's a tool for managing the marketing tags on a website. Who uses Google Tag Manager? I got this question from Answer the Public. I put in Google Tag Manager, and who uses Google Tag Manager as a question suggested? Didn't exist, right? There's no research on the topic. Can I find that? Yep. I went to Alexa. Again, I took a list of a bunch of marketing websites, and I used a tool called Ghostery to show me all of the tracking codes on any given website, so I can see if they have Google Tag Manager on their website. List of websites, tool to see who's using Tag Manager, gave it to a virtual assistant who sent me back a spreadsheet showing how many marketing tags are used on these websites. What percentage of sites are using Google Tag Manager? I wrote the article, 41% of websites at the time were using Tag Manager. 12 is the average number of marketing tracking codes on a website. New data, right? I manufactured this piece of research. It's like conjuring news. It made a great visual asset, marketing tags in Google Tag Manager. I'm turning it into a visual asset. Piece goes live, thousands of visits. I did the screenshot this morning. But more importantly, it's attracted links from other websites. My content strategy has a plan to create link-worthy content because without that, I'm not going to rank for the money phrase. I'm only going to stay in business if I rank for Chicago web design, Chicago web development, Chicago e-commerce, Chicago WordPress web design. That's my goal. This is helpful in that goal. You can also aggregate data. I read, how much money do marketers make? Anyone know? We're all suddenly paying a lot of attention. The next slide, maybe he'll show. How much money do marketers make? The answer, I don't know anything about marketing compensation, but I know where to find it. I went to Glassdoor.com and Payscale.com and found the median marketing surveys for all these different job titles. We're repeating this again, and the numbers aren't as strong as they were then, but it showed a big lift in the compensation for for content strategists. The new research shows that this is going to come down a little bit. There were some outliers in that data, but still, the skills you are learning right now are some of the most in-demand skills probably in any industry. People that are good at this stuff, they grow businesses. You can just drop them into a business and it will grow. Extremely important. The things you're learning right now, we're literally in a content strategy session, so that's fun. So I send this out as an email. Of course it has huge open rates. The email has high open rates because the subject line promised you to find out how much the person sitting next to you makes, right? Everyone's going to open that email. And when Marketing News magazine calls and says, can we run that? They literally called on the phone and said, we have our career issue coming up. And we put your research, aggregated research, into our new issue? Sure. This is a picture of the American Marketing Association's magazine when they ran that piece. Conjuring news, that's what research can do. You're conjuring news. The survey was by far our best because surveys can answer questions that are otherwise unanswerable. For example, how long does it take to write a blog post? No one had answered that question. So I asked 1,000 bloggers how much time they spend writing blog posts, averaged the answer. The answer is 3.5 hours on average. Literally 1,800 websites have linked to that article. Breathtaking. More links to that single URL than most of my clients' websites. What would it do to your search rankings if you had a URL, a piece of original research, that more than 1,000 other companies link to? That's SEO. That's the game. And my Arabic is a little rusty. It doesn't have to be good because they promoted this thing all over the world. They're literally talking about the correlation between, the survey answers a lot of other questions, including the correlation between length and strong results. Gave this presentation, a woman from Morocco translated that for me. It was awfully nice of her. So here's the key to original research. Think of it this way. What do people in your industry often say but rarely support with evidence? If you can find and produce and publish the missing statistic in your industry, you're going to win the internet for the day. Anyone can do it. You don't have to wait for the beauty of content to me is that nobody called on us to do these things, right? Nobody chose us. We chose ourselves to find and produce that piece of research, to make that new statistic. We weren't assigned this job. None of the great content strategists out there were told to do what they're doing. They decided to do it themselves. It's kind of an entrepreneurial thing. I sort of love it that way. So everyone does this, right? Nope. Only 47% of companies have published original research in the last 12 months. Why? Because it's really hard. It takes me 150 hours to make that survey every year. We've done it every year for the last 5 years. Who spends 150 hours on one blog post? That's insane, Andy. Why would you do that? The answer is results, as we saw, are exponential. But time and effort are linear. This is the most important, least scientific chart I've ever made. It's really important because, and probably the curve is even more dramatic, I will do anything possible to move myself even a little farther over to the right. Remember, 150 hours to create. 1,800 websites have linked to that one URL, right? Remember, most websites, 75% of articles get nothing, right? That's because these people quit after an hour or two of publishing, and their results are way down here. Yeah, am I going to put in 10x the effort? Absolutely, because I know that that's going to give me like 100 times the results. More data. High-growth firms are 3 times Hinge marketing. High-growth firms are 3 times as likely to publish original research as part of their content strategy. Or my mentor, I love her. I never get to see her. She's in Denver. Sonia Simone, the Chief Content Officer of Copyblogger. Don't take shortcuts. They take too long. Yeah. Every good thing that you have ever gotten came from hard work, it seems to me. We're Midwesterners. We know this, right? It's like, it's just, do what other people are unwilling to do for a year, and you can do what other people can't do for the rest of your life. Something like that. So that research shows basically this, it bears this out. 1 in 5 bloggers does things very differently. 27% of respondents say that they get strong results from their marketing. Only 18% publish long-form content, but 42% of them report strong results. Only 13% of bloggers say they spend more than 6 hours on an article, but 39% of them get strong results, and so on down the list. They publish more frequently. They work with professional editors. They collaborate with influencers. They use paid promotion, or they add video, or they guest post frequently, right? And publishing original research, this is an incredible number. Only 25% of the bloggers in the blogging survey publish original research, but 58% of those that do report strong results from digital. That might be the main, best takeaway. We can stop now. We're good. That's it. That's one of the most powerful tactics I know of. And then, of course, I'm going to put a lot of effort into the promotion because it's not the best content that wins, it's the best promoted content that wins. Again, it's not the best content that wins, it's the best promoted content. So this research is like a tree falling in the woods unless you promote it well. Example, the New York Times doesn't have a list of the best books. They have a list of the best selling books. That's right, it's like a marketing list, right? Not weird. There's no list of the best books that I know. I mean, like bloggers maybe make one. So here's how I'm going to promote my hard work. I'm going to turn on this, I'm going to face the window, turn on the camera. I've got a microphone and a copy of Camtasia. This is my studio. I've actually upgraded it a little bit, but it's not much more than this. Anyone have a desk like this? Does that look like home to anybody? Yeah, DP for sure. Here's how it works. I stare at the camera until I start smiling. They call that RBF. You know what that stands for? Yeah. Yeah, you're not friendly by default, like I'm just. So, look it up. So when I finally smile, I know that I'm recording already, but I'm going to trim out the part where I'm just growling, and then I smile, introduce myself, welcome to this thing. This is the article I made for you. This is the information need it solves. This is the reason to click. And then click the link and you'll find the full piece. Thanks for watching. It's a 1-minute commercial. Then I go into Camtasia and I'm going to add captions because I'm making a social media video. Social media video is not good enough on its own because there's no sound. It doesn't have stopping power. We're trying to make a thumb stopper, right? The person scrolling past this busy social stream. So the captions are very easy to add using Camtasia. It chops it up for you. You type while you listen. And then I'm going to add campaign tracking code so I know how many people clicked on this thing. Campaign tracking code. I put in the link, the source, medium, and name. The source is LinkedIn. The medium is social, and so forth. It appends all this extra tracking code to the end of the link. Then I make a social post pulling out all the stops, giving it everything I possibly can do, right? By mentions we just talked about, right? Numbers, hashtags, line breaks, the video is captions, the link with the campaign tracking code.
Hi, this is Andy from Orbit Media Studios, and I'm sharing an article with you now called 27 Web Design Tips Based on Research. There's a lot of information and advice.
So these are the mentions of the people who were included in the article. We'll talk more about that in a second. Now when this goes live, this is weird, very meta. This post goes live. I'm going to find the link by clicking on those 3 dots, find the link to this post, and I'm going to share it with a few people to get them to interact with it quickly. Because I'm trying to trigger the social media algorithm to show it to many thousands more people. Don't ask someone to share your article. Share the link to your post and ask them to interact with it. Because when Facebook or LinkedIn sees lots of interactions on a post, they're much more likely to show that to many thousands more people. We're trying to trigger an algorithm. I don't care if I get 10 shares. I'd rather have 1 share with a lot of activity on it, which is super strange because for years we just made ads. That was marketing. Time goes on. Now we're going to make content that promotes a business. Okay, I still kind of get that. Wait, now I have to promote the content that promotes the business? Okay, and this is a LinkedIn video promoting a piece of original research to promote my company sort of indirectly. And then I have to promote the social media video that promote, like strange, right? Weird to me, works like a charm. This is actually the best way to do digital, as strange as it sounds, how meta it's all gotten. Okay, so how well does it work? I know I have attribution because I put campaign tracking code on it. Did it work? Yep. 398 visits from the first one I made. It lasted for a week. I thought social posts only last for a few hours, right? I can attribute a subscriber to that. This is what campaign tracking code does, right? This is a campaign report. Google Analytics. The next one, 270 visits, 3 subscribers. The next one, 1,200 visits. Someone a big name must have shared it. You can see how that would work. 13 subscribers. It's not a mystery. Spend that much time. It's been a half an hour making a 1-minute commercial for your content. Definitely add campaign tracking code so you can go back and see the performance of that, get better at it, decide whether to keep investing in it. Again, the best content doesn't win. The best promoted content wins. Yeah, but Andy, that's easy for you because you have a bunch of LinkedIn connections. Yeah, that's not mysterious. Who here accepts LinkedIn connections from everyone that sends a request? Good for you. I'm glad to hear a few of you are open to that. Who here accepts LinkedIn requests only from people that they have known since high school? You were married, you've got 2 kids, you know their blood type, you were in business together. Some people are super restrictive about LinkedIn. It's weird to me. It made sense when it was like an online resume, but now it's a content platform. You wouldn't decline a follow on another social network. Why would you decline a connection on LinkedIn? Here's my rule for LinkedIn. Feel free to steal it. I will connect with anybody in marketing anywhere in the world. Cool. Or anybody in Chicago in any industry at all. Why wouldn't I? I want to be relevant to marketers and in my geography. And if you're in marketing and in Chicago, you're probably getting a high, thanks for connecting, want to get together sometime. If you're a chemical engineer in Karachi, I'm not going to, there's no reason to connect with you. Of course, I'm going to ignore that. Okay, moving on. The best source of topics, actually, just straight topics, is going to be your audience themselves. It's really valuable to listen to them, especially to prospects. I've got a question about your proposal. That's our friend Kyle. Greg and I are both collaborators with Kyle. I've got a question about your proposal. Do I need a coffee grinder? Remember, I'm crafty. Thanks for sending the samples, but do we have to switch to whole bean? The pricing looks good, but my team really likes those instant K-Cups. Maybe this is like part of my value proposition is that we're going to deliver whole bean coffee, that it's better coffee. If that's the case, and if I analyze my funnel, my sales funnel, my pipeline, and I find out that there's common questions in my pipeline, now I know my job is to go answer those questions in marketing. Because for everyone that has the question in person in the sales meeting, there's a bunch of people who don't even ask me the question or even reach out during sales. My son is really good at outreach. He doesn't hesitate to break down barriers and connect directly with the audience. This is him at my desk. Look, he thinks everything's a phone. Yeah. Hang up the mouse, kid. Click. Get back to work. So, yeah. If I could have, I would have brought him. He's the best. So my audience has asked me this question, right? I'm riding shotgun on sales meetings, right? I'm listening to sales calls. I'm the marketer who understands what's happening in sales. So next time they ask, do I need a coffee grinder? I don't just say, good question, I'll explain, and let those sound waves and vibrations travel out into the universe and dissipate and they're gone. Instead, I'm going to write that article and say, I'm glad you asked. I'm sending you a link. And I'm going to give them 2,000 words about all the benefits of whole bean coffee. What happens now? Everyone is on the same, well, first of all, he can say, oh, great, I'll share that with someone else, multiple decision makers. Anyone have a complex B2B service offering with multiple decision makers, or B2C with multiple decision makers, right? And you're basically just not missing the chance to create content. That it is content when you answer the question on the phone, it's just not captured content. You should capture that content and do what social media marketers have known forever, is to never waste a good conversation by having it in private. That's a flaw, that's a sad moment. You hung up the phone and it's gone. Ever done that? Been like, wow, I wish I'd recorded that one. Nailed that answer. So this is how it really works. Prospect asks question. That's just a topic. That's a trigger. Salesperson answers question. Good, that's what they're supposed to do. But then the marketing person steals the salesperson's laptop, looks at their sent mail folder, and finds the most common emails they send and turns that stuff back into content, writes articles so that the sales team can then share. Now all the salespeople talk the same, right? They're unified in their message because we have common answer for why whole bean coffee. I love listening for content. This is a fun, it was kind of an experiment. Here's how it worked. I do sales and I talk to a lot of angry people. So I'm going to use angry stock photo guy here. We do websites. A lot of people are angry at their web design companies. I realized this and eventually I'm like, I'm just going to put a notepad next to my phone. And I'm going to write down every complaint I hear about web design companies. I did it for a year. Not hard, just a little bit of forethought. I'm going to write down every complaint people tell me about their web design company for a year. Wow, that sounds bad. I'm listening. Tell me more. That sounds horrible. Yeah, we'd love to help you. So at the end, I have a list of 27 different complaints about web design companies. That's the template for the article. Here's the article. This is a very weird piece. It has more comments than shares. Ever seen an article like that? People are just ranting. They read the comments on this thing. They're angry people. They don't want to share that they hate their web design company, but they're ready to rant about it. And I did some analysis. I want to add some value. Most people don't everyone hires web design companies because they think the design is pretty. Hire some people that make something pretty. But whether they love or hate them is about the service. Yet weirdly, no one ever asks about your service quality or checks references or goes, this is the least common questions in the web design sales process are about service. The most common questions are about design and programming. Yet that's not why people love or hate their web design companies. This is why people hate their web design companies. I made it a word cloud just for fun. So it ranks number 1 for web design companies, or for web design complaints, and has had 28,000 visits since it went live. So it does a decent job actually of attracting visitors. And like I said, it has that weird element of lots of comments. So that was just an experiment where I basically just took notes while listening to people on the phone. Anyone can do that. Zero, and it's paper and pen, like nothing sneaky or tricky about that approach. Now, whatever I do, I'm not going to just leave it in text. I'm going to upgrade to visuals. Text is unfortunately not the strongest format. My whole bean versus ground coffee. Here's my infographic with the whole bean versus ground coffee smackdown. Because text is unfortunately the weakest format for content. I'm a writer. We're all writers. It's insufficient. We need to go beyond that and actually produce images and infographics and diagrams. Video is even more compelling. I'm going to get to this last part in a second. It's like a law. It's like a rule. It's visual hierarchy. Literally, our brains are wired this way. Movement is more visually prominent than images, and images are more visually prominent than text. If you did an eye tracking heat map study on any web page, you would see that this is true. People's eyes are gravitated toward movement, and then images, and then text. Text is kind of the hardest format to consume, requires the most work. Here's, not to get into the details, but here's some basic guidelines for visual prominence and how web designers specifically control visitors' minds and eyes through a series of messages. The purpose of web design is to answer the visitor's top questions in a rough priority of importance to the typical visitor, using visual hierarchy to guide their eyes through the flow of a page, through answers to questions and evidence to support those answers. Add a call to action at the bottom. That's how to generate leads on the internet. Eli knows that that's important. Look, he loves visual content, even when it's on the garage. That was chalk, it washed off. I sprayed it with a hose. So if there's like a consistent formula for winning every time, it looks something like this. Turn your top X into Y, as in your top blog post into an infographic. Almost guaranteed success, right? I've never seen it fail. Or turn it into a video. Always works. Or turn your top 3 articles into a guide. Or turn your top Facebook post into your email subject line. If it worked as a Facebook post, it's likely to work as an email subject line. That's one of the best uses for social media, is to test, right? The psychology of subject lines to maximize the open and click-through rates from email marketing. Email is so stressful. You get like one shot. It's like, I gotta write a good subject line. What's the sender name gonna be? Subject line, sender name, and pre-header text are the only ways that you drive open rates. There's no other information. That's all you get. Look at your mobile inbox. You got like 50 characters. Definitely front load your email subject lines with the most emotional and practical words of the subject line. Because just try it on your phone. I mean, there's not very much room there. Time of day. Sender name, subject line, pre-header text, and then timing, I suppose. That's the game in email. But this is the game for analytics. Larry Kim sums it up. This is arguably the purpose of analytics, is to find the outperformers, right? The guys in blue. And then double down and quadruple down on those things, right? He says everything in digital is either a unicorn or a donkey. If you find where your unicorns are, you can just do more on those topics, and it's far lower risk, right? Far better results. This is my productivity guide for you. Updating, repurposing high-performing content is going to be more effective for you than creating new content. Creating videos and images are more effective than writing new articles. Writing new articles is actually a more important thing to do than just responding to email. Do something important before you do something urgent. Write something in the morning before you open your inbox. But after all, responding to emails is definitely better than scrolling through Facebook and Instagram. Just delete that from your phone. Those are creepy websites. Why do people, I'm a B2B marketer, so I can say this. Yeah, delete Facebook from your phone. You'll get a productivity boost like that day. Okay, moving on. Side rant over. Search and social. I love this. This is actually fascinating, though. This is content strategy. This is the skill. It's the feel that a content strategist has. You look at a headline, or you look at a topic, and you're like, that's going to work in search, or that's going to work in social. You should have this kind of instinct. So here's a little guide to help consider. Kind of obvious. Long-form content tends to work in search. Compelling visuals will tend to work in social media. Answering people's questions tend to work in search. Trigger emotion tends to work in social media, right? Your job in search is to solve for people's information needs. They searched for it, right? Your job is to meet their expectations. But in social, your job is to be a little bit unexpected. You see how different that is? Think about targeting. Not that I'm an advertiser, but advertisers do this. In search, you know everything about what they're thinking, but nothing about who they are. They typed it in a box, right? You know what they're thinking, but you don't know who they are. In social, you know nothing about what they're thinking, but everything about who they are. You feel the difference? That's why different people have different advantages in search and social. Some things people look for, right? It's like, emergency plumbing. That's going to work in search all day long. But who's going to run an emergency plumbing ad in social media? How do you target people who like sinks are overflowing? Like that just doesn't work, right? Innovators, though, right? You invented something new. I know a woman, she invented this like exercise bike under your desk. I don't even know what to call that. No one's searching for that. Innovators, they need to use social media. You target people who are fitness, they work in offices, you can imagine the Facebook ad. That's never going to work in search, though, because people aren't looking for that thing. It's not even a known need yet. Because visitors in search are busy and visitors in social are bored. Major difference. Which brings us to one of our last, basically this next topic, which is what works in social is quotes from experts that improve the quality of your content. What works in search is quotes from social influencers. They may not be experts, but they've got followings they can help amplify. This is about influencer collaboration. We want to lead. We can't deposit Facebook likes or visitors in a bank. We need a lead so that we can fill the sales funnel. To get a lead, we need two things. We need traffic and conversions. You need cheese and mousetraps. Traffic times the conversion rate equals leads, right? That's the math of digital. So traffic, content marketers have three classic sources, search, social, and email. But we know it's the search visitors who are more likely to convert because they have a need, right? They typed it into a search engine. They wrote it in a box. They got commercial intent keywords. So search, we're talking about ranking. So why do things rank? Two main search ranking factors. Links, as in authority, and content, as in keywords, right? That sales page has to be optimized for a key phrase, and the site has to have sufficient authority to be able to rank for the phrase. So we get to this great question in digital, why do people link to things? Because they have relationships with content creators, and they have something worth linking to. We already said that the content worth linking to is original research. So now let's do the relationships with creators. Not just anybody, but content creators. The 1% rule. 1% of people on the internet make the internet. That's us, guys. You're my people. We're a tribe. Content creators. They are the bloggers, the editors, the journalists, the researchers, the podcasters. So when you're building relationships as a content strategist, these people are worth much more to you because they create content, therefore might create links, therefore pass authority in your ranking potential, than just the average social media user, right? Now, if I'm going to collaborate with someone, office managers, I'm going to add a word like blogger or author that indicates that person's a content creator. So these are people that I'd love to be friends with. Better yet, that's a free tool. It's a Twitter search tool called FollowerWonk. Better yet, BuzzSumo, paid tool, you can just check boxes, bloggers and journalists maybe, and I'm going to see just office managers who are bloggers and journalists, and it shows me the authority of the websites they rank for. This is the social value of a collaboration. This is the SEO value of a collaboration. So I can do contributor quotes, expert roundups, or deep dives. Quick example, I made a big piece of research. How do I get content creators and influencers to see my research? Important question, right? The best promoted content will win. So this is the latest blogging survey. You know what'd be really cool, or it's an older one. You know what'd be really cool is if Ann Handley knew about my research. How could I get Ann to know about this research? Oh, good, I included her in it. You know what'd be great is if Ian Clary or Joe Polizzi or Ginny Dietrich knew about my research. Oh, good, I included her in my research. I reach out to them prior to it going live to get contributor quotes from them. Now they're invested in it. And these are content creators for high domain authority websites, right? They're not unlikely. Joe Polizzi, mentioned this, quoted it, included it in their research, or on their content. So two bloggers. Blogger A writes an article. Blogger B socializes with their network about the article. What should we write about? What would be a good headline? Is this a good research topic? And then they include experts in the article. 1%, content creators. Who gets more social traction when that goes live? Right? This is so effective. I get emails like this after teaching sometimes. It's like, wow, that worked. All I did was tag these people. Why does it work? Because an ally in creating content is an ally in promoting content. You didn't really finish optimizing the article unless you included other people in it. I just make that a rule. Never write an article without including some collaborator, some contributor, some other blogger, some influencer. Would a journalist write an article without including a source? That's not good professionalism, right? Why would a content creator miss a networking opportunity? In fact, many do. Only 15% of B2B marketers have ongoing content influencer marketing programs, despite the fact that influencer marketing is like an explode. Put it into Google Trends. Look at that. Let's not be behind this curve, right? Get on top of that. It's not difficult. It's a prescriptive way to do it. Just collaborate with content creators and include them as a contributor quote. I use content as a networking tool. I happen to be included in this article. A guy named Dennis wrote this. I looked through the article and found someone else included in it, James Carberry. He does the B2B Growth Podcast. This article goes live, and I reach out to James. Hey, James, you and I were in the same roundup, so I thought I'd reach out. Great to connect, Andy. Glad you liked that. By the way, if you'd ever like to collaborate on anything at all, just say the word. You see how that content, this conversation might have stopped right there? But I put in this little text here to like implant into his mind that I'd like to collaborate on something. What happens next? Yeah, we'd love to have you on our podcast. Great. Networking, right, with another content creator just through that simple line of text. I say this all the time. Don't hesitate to reach out if you'd ever like to collaborate on anything at all. In fact, I say that so often, it's like my standard close, right? It's like that Leonardo DiCaprio movie, right, where they go into people's brains and they implant ideas. What's it called? Inception. This is my Inception moment, right? Steal it. I use it all the time. Highly recommend it. So I have a text expander now that types this for me. I'm in LinkedIn. I type the same letter 3 times. I. Ready? Thanks. I appreciate it. Boom. If you'd ever like to collaborate, anything at all, don't hesitate to reach out. That's how often I type that text. You know all my tricks now. There's the expander, the auto text expander for Google Chrome. Very handy. I use it a lot. I use it for different things. It saves you typing. And I get emails like this afterwards. Wow, since I've been using your email sign-off, 2 people have taken me up on it. Next tactic, guest blogging. It's not just about writing for your own site. One way to actually engineer links to your website, design links to your website, is through writing for other websites. Blogger A writes 2 articles. Blogger B writes 2 articles, but pitches one to an editor. Yellow is off-site article. That links back to their other content. The dotted line is a link. And they got a guest contributor to write an article for them. Probably people in this room that you could collaborate with, write for, write with, right? Round 2. 2 articles on other websites, links back there. You can see they've got more content associated with their brand. Round 4, it's a linear progression. Nice blog, buddy. You know a lot of these people probably, right? Just keep cranking it out. Keep hitting the publish button, right? This is like the red shirt. This is the blue shirt. Look at the difference. The SEO benefits, the networking benefits, the social media benefits. So everyone does that, right? Nope. Only 65% of bloggers ever write guest posts. I've written 385 articles. A third of my articles are for other people's websites. To this day, 11 years in content. I'm never going to stop that. Why would I stop that? It'd be crazy. They have, you're going to get much more visibility. I'm going to put it all together for you now. Let's do this. Finish line. If we have time, I'm going to show you like this ninja thing at the end. We'll see if we have a minute. I saved some slides just in case. Put some slides at the end. We got them in backup. Okay. Like we said, there's 2 kinds of visitors to web pages. Visitors who have commercial intent, they're transactional, or visitors who have information intent. They're just solving their own problems, they got curious about something, they're a DIY person. Research shows there's 8 times as many people searching for the information intent queries. 8 times as many dollar signs as question marks in research. So that means basically every website has 2 kinds of pages. Sales pages, products and services, the about page, red is the sales stuff, and blue, the content marketing stuff, the helpful, useful articles, the mini version of Wikipedia, the magazine on the website, right? So these are the pages that attract the links that make these pages more likely to rank. The visitors to these pages are not that likely to ever convert. They might subscribe, make email more effective, follow, social more effective, or link, improving the ranking potential of everything on this domain. But they're not that likely to ever become a lead. These people sort of enter the funnel at the very bottom. So if you want the fortune, you've got to get the glory first. This is why competitive industries rarely have high-ranking pages that don't have content programs. Without this, your website is what? It's just an online brochure. Online brochures don't perform that well in search because they just have low authority, because there's no content to link to, there's no links to the website. So that's the combination of mousetrap and cheese. So we're going to put it all together. I know what topics to write about. I know what formats to write. We're going to upgrade to visuals. I know what collaborators to work with, or the content creators in my category. And I know where I'm going to publish some host blogs. The nucleus of my demand generation machine is the sales page. I put that in red. That's the money page. It's optimized for a key phrase, office coffee delivery. And it answers top questions. It's filled with evidence. It has calls to action. But am I going to rank for that? The difficulty, this is without doing a deep dive in SEO, the difficulty is 22. My domain authority is only 16. Sorry, guys, we're not going to rank for that key phrase. Fortunately, my content strategy is going to have a original research and influencer marketing to generate more links. Here's the original research. Office perks from the top 50 workplaces. Download a list of the top 50 workplaces, reach out to a bunch of HR people, ask them what office perks they offer. Got charts and data and quotes from influencers. If you're into it, like HubSpot style, you want to gate something cool, maybe that's the full version there where you give us your email address. A how-to article, how to retain your top employees. Remember, blue is content marketing and red is my sales page. I'm going to repurpose that as a guest post. Yellow is an offsite post. Evil twin, how to lose a top employee. I do this all the time. When you write the how-to, you're basically halfway done writing the how not to. You wrote the best practices, now go write the mistakes, right? It's an easy article. And websites love it, right? Editors love it. It's a great pitch. So this is not the 5 perks that get your team to come in early. That's my how-to article. But it's the 5 mistakes of rookie office managers. Basically the same article written. It's the evil twin. I'm going to repurpose that research as an infographic. Right? Let's go deep into the visual format. You can see my little icon for visuals. It's got charts. It's got a short article. Links back to the original piece. I'm going to write that. I'm going to pitch that as a guest post. Another easy pitch for an editor. It's a visual asset. They love that. Right? Top perks at top offices. It's got original data in it. And I'm going to reach out to an influencer. Right? Let's find someone who knows a lot about, influential HR manager. They're a content creator. We're going to have an in-depth conversation about the research. And I'm going to pitch myself or someone in my company as an influencer. This is an off-site piece. By the way, most podcasters don't get pitched hardly at all. If you want to promote an executive in your company, just reach out to some podcasters and line up some interviews. They love to get pitched. But most podcasters are trying to figure out who to talk to next. It's not hard to, it's an easy pitch. So yeah, I'm going to pitch myself as a contributor to something else. That'll link back, like in the show notes for a podcast or in the editorial for a guest post. And now let's start writing. 5 workplace secrets. Coffee, tea, or beer. What are they drinking in top offices? Dirt on dishes. What's wrong with office kitchens? I wasn't even thinking of this as a blogging strategy until now. I'm going to just fill out some more content. This is a content strategy, right? That is not what most people are doing. So remember, I don't have sufficient domain authority to rank for this key phrase, right? So, but if I do this, how often can I do this? How often could you do this? Maybe quarterly? Let's go with quarterly. That's not 40 hours a week every quarter. I mean, I think 20 hours a week, maybe every quarter you could do that. Original research, you've got the content upgrade, media, collaborators. If I did this quarterly, and remember, difficulty 22. Why is it difficulty 22? Because the other high-ranking sites have links to them from like 100 to 200 different websites. The other high-ranking web pages for this phrase have links from 100 to 200 websites. My site has links from 42 websites. So suppose each round of this content strategy generated 25 links to my site. How long would it take me to have sufficient domain authority to rank for office coffee delivery? 42 and 25 and 25, that's 92, 20, something like this, right? I'm going to confidently predict that early next year, I'm going to rank for office coffee delivery service. What would that do to your business to rank for a new commercial intent key phrase? I'm going to create consistent demand where you wake up and you've got leads. This is exactly how I would do it. I'm totally confident in this, with a strategy like that and being able to create that outcome. So the problem is, though, that only 28% of brands have done even finished their mission statement. Only 47% have anchored their content in research. Only 15% are influencer powered, and only 65% focus on PR. So help me do the math. That's 0.28. You know how this works, right? 0.28 times 0.47 times 0.15. Maybe, if that, maybe 1.2% of content strategies combine these tactics. Rare, very rare to meet someone that puts all these things together. Yet they are exactly the kinds of things that will lead to that outcome we're looking for. So 1.28% of content strategies are mission-driven, research-anchored, influencer-powered, and PR-focused. And sadly, 99% of people didn't come here. I feel bad for them. You're going to crush them at this game. They don't have a chance. You now know the most effective content strategies to combine to get the greatest possible result. And we have 3 minutes left. That's the book, by the way. DP and I took a picture of it earlier. It's in its 5th edition, Content Chemistry. I've got time for a question or that other ninja. Your question or ninja? Ninja, okay. We'll do this fast. There are certain pages on your site that probably rank today. There are certain pages on your site that probably rank right now, but don't rank that high. If SEO is about making more of these, the pages that drive consistent visitors every day, to find these pages, go to it's in analytics is ABC, acquisition, behavior, conversion. Top of the funnel, middle of the funnel, bottom of the funnel. Under acquisition, as long as it's connected, it takes just a minute, there's a report called Search Consoles, a section called Search Consoles, and inside there, there's queries. This report shows you all the phrases you rank for and how high you rank. This is a filter. If you type something in this box, it's going to filter for this column. But if you click Advanced Filter, you can filter for other columns, like this column. So watch this. This filter says, show me only the phrases where my average position as in ranking is greater than 10. And if you rank greater than 10, where do you rank? Page 2 of Google. Where's the best place to hide a dead body? Page 2 of Google. This is literally your lowest hanging fruit, your striking distance key phrases. These are all the phrases for which you almost rank high. That is incredibly valuable data, right? There's other tools that will show you this. So go search for the phrase. Try to confirm the ranking. Here's one. Oh, I ranked number 9 for that key phrase. I'm at the bottom of page 1, right? This is a big opportunity. Or look at this one. CRM tips. We rank at the top of page 2 for that key phrase. What if I could move this up a tiny bit? We'll go from page 2 to page 1. It's a giant tipping point, right? Google's still paginated, weirdly. There's a giant cutoff point there. So all I have to do is go to the page and give it the Control-F test. This page ranks for CRM tips. Control-F test, right? It's going to show us the instances of that phrase. I did this for a friend of mine. You can increase your traffic in like 5 minutes, not exaggerating. Confirm the ranking, go to the page, Control-F, search for the phrase. CRM tips appears 0 times. All we have to do is put CRM tips into this, tips appears 3 times, once in the header, and twice over here as links. Links don't count. They don't indicate the relevance of this page. They indicate the relevance of the page they link to. Now let's go make it a better page. You can use related searches to make it a better page. You can use Answer the Public to make it a better page, find all the CRM tips related things. What are CRM techniques? How does CRM work in marketing? How does it help with sales? Did we answer all those questions on that page? Probably not. So search for those phrases, find the page and confirm the ranking. And then go make that a better page through better keyword frequency, add video, add contributor quotes, add images, add internal linking, add examples, add stories, add answers, all that other stuff. Done this a gazillion times. I get these emails back. Wow, that worked really well. And this is the article, I'll share it. Or search for how to rank in Google and you'll find this. This has a video that explains that exact tactic.
All right, Andy, thank you very much. Let's give him a round of applause.
Thanks, guys. This is fun.